Hey everybody, it's Rachel. Giving you a quick look at the greenhouse. If you notice, I have cut vent holes in this plastic because it is hot in here. It is about 8 in the morning and it's doable right now, but come lunch, no. So probably this plastic, which I hate to do it. But it will probably come off, and we may put some shade cloth on it. You know, the whole reason of doing this inside the greenhouse is because none of these are growing in ground. These are all growing in nutrient solutions. So, you know, I don't know how that's going to affect it. It's going to get rain inside. I don't want these water tables to get flooded and drown out my plants. Now, these on the air stones, they would be fine. But this down here, it would not. So, because, you know, it has to have that air pocket in between in order to receive its oxygen. So, I'm not sure how we're going to handle that. I may try to keep a piece of plastic over this area, this section. I'm not sure. I am hoping that these air holes will work, but I keep getting people telling me, oh, that's going to have to come off because it does get super hot. My bok choy, you'll see some empty cups. They begin to seed. And what I mean by that is, I think there's one in here that's doing it. Yeah, right here. See how those little sprouts are coming out? Well, that's what would happen if it's on the end of its growth cycle. It's going to come out, flower, and drop seeds. And it's going to make it really bitter. I actually took a leaf off that one yesterday and chewed it up. It's not bitter yet, but it's going to be. Luckily, this bok choy, it was more of a, you know, growing experiment. I don't even know what to do with this stuff. Never used it that I know of. So, I think today I'm going to take these heads out. Now these, right here, ain't those lovely? Those are the baby bok choys, and I think they're ready to go anyway. So I'm going to cut these off, see if anybody is interested in some bok choy. If not, the rabbits will have it. And I think I'm going to try some strawberries on this table. See what I get. So the heat, it's rough. And it's just the beginning of June. So I knew that the heat would affect these things. But, you know, I just didn't realize how hot it's going to get in here. And it's miserable. It does get miserable. My tomatoes, well, there they are. They're a jungle. And they are beginning to load down with tomatoes for us. Now, I think the heat on them, they're good. They're good. So far, so good. Knock on wood. But we've got quite a few popping out here. And so the tomatoes, as far as, you know, taking care of these, you can tell this is my first rodeo. I've just been trying to tie them up as good as I can, and seeing if they make it, basically. I did cut, you know, I did trim down at the bottom and probably didn't trim enough. There was one plant that I trimmed off a stalk at the bottom, and it had a few little roots on it. So I stuck it in my nutrient table over here while I was working, and then and it looked pitiful. But then I came over and just stuck it in the pot with another plant. So here's a plant, here's the stalk, and then here's that sucker. And it's living. It's got blooms. It's living. I really didn't plan on having 2 in one pot, but if it lives, I'm going to let it go. There was a plant. Let's looky here. I didn't see those clusters. There's quite a few in there. We were gone over the weekend, came home. There was a plant here that was bent all the way over and broke in half. It was just barely holding on by some skin. I just pulled it back up, tied it up, and I thought, well, it'll shrivel up, it's going to die, and I'll put that sucker in its spot. I just can't tell which one it is, so I'm not going to untie it. I'm going to let it go. What else? There's some little baby tomatoes, some little tomatoes, I believe. That's probably a black pearl plant. We got our table full of cabbage. They're doing okay. I think cabbage is a slow grow anyway. But I really thought, because I had to add some more nutrients, when we came back, the water level on these tables were super low. So I had to add more water to them. The bok choy popped up. The lettuce popped back up. They're about the same. But they're doing okay. More tomatoes. Oh, tripping over a hose. Yeah, more tomatoes here. We got little ones in there. Little ones right in there. So happy with those. What else? When I left, let's see, today is Friday. We left last Saturday. Came back on Monday, and I had this zucchini. Now, that zucchini is probably, when I left, it was about my pinky size, and I am not lying. And now, it's ready to pick. So, I'm probably going to pick that today. 1 zucchini, yay! We got okra sprouting. Little okra starting to sprout. I did not know that I had a pickle. I got a pickle. It's gonna be. It's gonna be. So these little cucumbers are taking off. There's another one. It's just like they're just popping out overnight. There's a little baby one. We'll see how big that gets in a week. My squash, I don't know. They're not doing too good. I'm still fighting with that blossom rot. I am getting misshapen and squishy. Squishy's the word. I don't know if it's the heat, if it's the calcium, if it's not enough water, if it's too much water. I just keep playing with the timers and stuff, and that may be what's happening. Maybe I'm not being consistent enough. But I did put some Tums peppermint flavored, because I couldn't find anything that wasn't flavored in the water. So we may have squash that tastes like peppermint. I don't know. Maybe that's what threw them off. But regardless, big plants, lots of fruit on them. See, look at that one. I don't know. I mean, that one don't look like that. Why does that one look like that? I don't know. Pick it off. Maybe it'll regenerate. All right. So, yeah, big plants, lots of fruit. But if you can't eat them, what good are they? We're going to keep giving them some love. Try to get more consistent on its watering schedule. And if things don't pick up, these are going to the rabbits. We've got cucumbers. Over here are lemon cucumbers. Man, these cucumber plants, they are wild. They are wild. But we're getting some fruit on there. That's a lemon cucumber. That should get about tennis ball or so size and be a little citrusy. Now, I've got a few of these floating around here. Some trying to pop. pop on out. These plants are so dense and sticky. So sticky. It's hard for me to get in and make sure these are getting pollinated. These should have been about every other bucket. They're way too close. And next time, if I grow cucumbers, and I will, these will definitely be spread out. I don't know that I'll grow any more squash unless I do it outside. To me, it's just a little bit too much worry until I know what I need to do with them. But next go round, this whole table all the way up, maybe cucumbers, but like every other bucket. It's just too wild. I've spent 30 minutes untangling them from themselves, from the other plants. You know, they're vining up on the water lines and pulling out the water lines. So they're tough. I've tried to tie them up some, but I think I'm just going to let them go. And, you know, when they get long enough, I'll stick them up over the little roof hoops, the vines that are growing down the back of the table, and they are. I'll just let them go and see what happens. But we're getting some progress on them. I'm trying to spot the one that was just covered up in little straight cucumbers, regular cucumbers. It's on here. But most of these are lemons, and then just the straight cucumbers. There's another lemon cucumber. And I think they're doing okay. I am going to try to pull my sleeves down and get back in here and see if I can't get these things pollinated. Here we go. There's our regular cucumbers. So you see all the way up through there. Cucumber, cucumber, cucumber. But I'm wondering, like, I don't think that one's got pollinated. So, and it's probably too late, these two. Once they close up, I don't think you can pollinate them. But looks like there's one in the back there we could do. So I'm going to get started on that. Look, that vine's just reaching out, trying to grab my ankle. They're crazy. It's hard to get in these plants, I'll be honest. And I've not had any bees. There's some. So it's definitely a learning experience. I'm still using my same Master Blend formulas. And I've been using the same formula I used for tomatoes on these squash and cucumbers. I think I may scale that back to the plant formulation. Because some of these cucumbers the squash have actually gotten very orange, very hard, very quickly. And I think it's too many nutrients. It's just, it's having like a growth spurt too quickly, along with this heat. Can't help. So I'm going to scale back. I'm having to add water to these reservoirs at least 2 or 3 times a week. So when I do that, I'm only going to add my nutrients, and I'm going to do it by the 5-gallon bucket, so I know I'm right on the amount. I think I'm just going to do that once per week if I need to. The rest of the time, they're just going to get regular water. And we'll see what we get out of that. So it's all trial and error. Let's go back in and look at those heads of lettuce. And you know, they've just been growing in those buckets. I added some fresh nutrients to them because they are in those black buckets, and a lot of people will either spray paint them or wrap them in plastic or this or that. I've just not done that yet. I don't know that I will do that. I've got 4 boxes of black buckets over there. I still need to put plants in. I've got red bell pepper, coral bell pepper in these Tidy Cat buckets. Thank you, Purina, once again. I've got some eggplant down here. I'm sure that they're root bound, and I just need to put them in those buckets and get them going. Let them do their thing. So a lot to be done. A lot to be done. Lately I've been coming in here and just taking the spray nozzle, spraying down the floor, spraying just through, spraying the plastic, trying to keep the heat down, spraying the buckets. It's been hot, and it's only gonna get hotter. Yay! So, so that's where we're at. That's what we're doing. I don't know what else to talk about. I wanted to be able to teach something, because I'm a teacher. Here we go. Yeah, they look good. Still the same formula, leafy green formula for the tables. Tomatoes get the higher formula. We're going to cut back on the cucumbers and squash formula. I'm going to just keep the regular formula on the other table. I set some new seeds, some new lettuce seeds and kale in rock wool. I think that's the way I'm going to go. If I've got rock wool, I'm going to use it. If I don't, I may try to start seeding in soil again. But if I don't have to use it, I don't want to. It's just a lot easier. And I think they just start out better in rock wool. So that's where we're at, my dears. Hopefully we're going to have a huge crop coming on, and I can make salsa out of my tomatoes and use my cilantro that I'm growing and use my peppers that I'm growing and get some things canned up and on Facebook and ready to go. We'll have plenty of lettuce if anybody's going to need some lettuce. And hopefully we can run this until, with a fresh crop. I'm hoping till at least November, December. We'll take the shade cloth off, put the plastic back on. Of course, we'll need new plastic. And it'll stay warm enough in here that we can continue to grow. So everybody just keep up with me. If you have any questions, any comments, any advice, please, please, please shoot me an email, send me a message. Don't call me on the phone because I probably won't answer if I don't know your number. And everybody have a great and safe Memorial weekend. Thanks, guys.